We are live. Hello everyone and welcome to this live. This is gonna be the first live for the year and probably a long live. I'm interested in creating a series of long lives. This is going to be one of them. And in this live I want to address the question of pornography as a demon. There's a cockatoo there that is so noisy. The sulfur-crested cockatoos, white birds, yellow crest, beautiful, the noisy as. They're louder than a plane. Pornography is not a demon, and I'm being the devil's advocate here on purpose, and I'm doing that as a way to empower you if you think that pornography is a demon. Pornography is not a demon, so this is controversial. This is something that maybe if you're religious and you use a lot words like good and evil, good and bad, demons and evil, things like that, it's going to clash with your belief system, and I'm hoping that by presenting you my point of view, this is going to inform you. So pornography is not a demon. What am I trying to say? Pornography is an object. Pornography is an object. If I'm addicted to sugar, then I'm going to eat a banana. Okay, let's just say a Mars bar. I'm going to eat a Mars bar because I'm addicted to sugar. But the Mars bar is not evil. It's an object. And here, hear me out here. I'm not talking about, only talking about the relationship between the consumer and the object. So I'm only talking about consuming pornography. I'm not talking about the production of pornography, the abuse that happened in pornography, all that. Okay, I'm just talking about you watching pornography. Pornography is not a demon, it's an object. And if you demonize that object and you give it a moral value, then you switch into a state of fear. If you judge it and you make it something that is aside from you, that is outside of you, and you give it a judgment that it's bad and evil and it's a demon, you're making it outside of you and you're making yourself a victim of that. You're giving pornography an agency, a goal, a purpose, an intentionality that it doesn't have. And you put yourself as a victim to that. And it is not what's happening. What's happening is that there is an object called pornography and you are addicted to it. And you have all my sympathy in that acknowledgement, difficult acknowledgement, and I am 100% with you. I had to make that acknowledgement many years ago before I healed myself, and it's painful. But pornography is just an object, and if you take responsibility over this healing, you will not be in a state of fear. You will not be in a state of externalization of this problem that there is some people with an agenda who create pornography and now you're a victim of that. There's just the subject of pornography, and hey, every time you watch that thing, pornography, your life sucks. You know, on the spot it's nice, and then after that your life sucks. And so it's like, oh, okay, well, what can I do to detach myself from this object? And maybe there is an agenda from people who watch it, maybe there's not. There's so many different pornographies, it's hard to say. Really depend. We got to address specifically the segments of producing and acting and whatnot that we're talking about. But as a matter of the role of pornography in your life, if you decide, wow, okay, there's that thing that exists, and every time I come to it, my life is bad, so I must protect myself from that. If you adopt that positioning, then you are in a position to take responsibility. You are in a position to protect yourself because you have agency, you have decision-making over that. And I'm not saying you're not going to be triggered and you're not going to relapse, but by changing the frame in which you understand your relationship with pornography, you'll be in a place of empowerment because you'll be able to observe yourself. Like in meditation. In meditation, we say you are the observer of your thoughts. Well, in this addiction, if you become the observer of your behaviors with pornography, then you can critically analyze them and you can act upon them. If you demonify pornography, if you put it outside of you, you have no control over it, and it's just like, it feels like an attack from the outside world onto you. The world is not attacking you. You have such a set of genes and dispositions that you are addicted to pornography. You have all my sympathy. And now what do we do with that? What do we do with that? We have to heal. And to heal, first we must acknowledge. And to acknowledge, first we must observe. And to observe, first we must stop judging and just be. Be with what is. So this is my message for you today. Projecting moral judgment on pornography is not helping because you're victimifying, I'm just inventing words, victimifying yourself on that. Calling it a demon, you're adding to this object, first a judgment, but then also an intention. But there's no intention in pornography other than pornography is a repository of sexual imagery. That's all it is. It doesn't have an agenda. And there's moral considerations to be taken into that at the production level. But in short, if you see pornography for what it is, which is just a repository of sexual imagery, and you realize that you have an attachment to this imagery, you have all my support and all my empathy in this process of acknowledgement that, hey, there is something in you that is getting attached to pornography. Some people watch pornography and have no attachment to it. Some people watch pornography and they're okay with it. So there's just something in you that is unfortunate that gets hooked onto pornography. And it's by removing this hook that you find healing. But the first step to that is to acknowledge where you're at and observe in a non-judgmental way. We're not judging pornography. Please don't judge yourself either. There's no purpose for a guilt trip. There's no purpose for harming yourself with negative thoughts and suicidal thoughts and all this crazy stuff. Please don't do that. Just acknowledge that, hey, in the most neutral possible way, there is this object called pornography, and there is me. And apparently every time I come across pornography, I get hooked to it. How do I diffuse that? If you ask yourself this question, you will find answers. And I'm here to help you find answers. But the very, very first step is to not externalize pornography and to realize that this addiction comes from inside you, comes from the wounds you carry. This hook that is attaching you to pornography is simply the wounds you carry that express themselves in your sexuality, and your sexuality expresses itself in pornography in an addictive way. So the way to heal from this addiction is just to remove that hook and just to come to an understanding that within you there are wounds, and I'm sorry that you're carrying wounds. And guess what? Every human is carrying wounds. So I'm not blaming you. You have all my sympathy, and I was exactly in the same case as now as you were 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Well, 17 years ago, maximum. Yes, I feel like I haven't finished with that point. The wounds we carry in us. So if we acknowledge that we have wounds, and it is those wounds that hook us to pornography, these wounds belong to us. It sucks that they do. And all the beautiful things inside you belong to you too. All your courage and your determination and whatever it is that is beautiful inside you belongs to you too. And those wounds also, that are from the past. Generally, these wounds are from the past. You don't need them anymore. They just want to be healed. The wounds are here as a flag from the past to say, hey, this hasn't yet been addressed. Please address that. And they come back into our lives. That's the only reason why they come back into our lives, because they want to be processed, reprocessed adequately, because this is old baggage from the past that hasn't been addressed. So if you address these wounds, you will heal these wounds, you will unlock your potential, you will feel a million times better, you will increase your self-esteem, you will understand the world around you, you will refocus your relationship with the world around you, you will heal from your relationship with pornography, you will alleviate all the trauma you carry. Should I keep going on? It is something that belongs to you. These wounds belong to you, and it belongs to you to make the decision to heal those wounds. And if you're clear with that, and if you're ready to make that decision, I am ready to help you. And so feel free to book a call with me. I'll attach a link below, so you can book a call together so we can clarify your goals, your strategies, your current understanding of your situation with pornography. But before we even do that, the very first step is just to acknowledge that there is something within us that gets attached to pornography. And pornography has no intentionality, or maybe that's a further debate. But as far as you're concerned, in your addiction, the addictive part comes from you. And it is your responsibility to heal it, and your life will not get better until you heal this addiction and until you heal those wounds. So a bit of a tough talk here, but again, you have all my support in this, and yeah, it is. I just want to create a world where men and women have healed their wounds, and we're taking place in the world from a place of power and a place of alignment. But if we have this addiction is pointing to the fact that there's something that we haven't addressed in our heart, in our mind, in our soul, in our psyche, whatever it is, that wants to be addressed. And this addiction is just a symptom. It's just a flag that says, hey, this hasn't been addressed, please fix this. But then we focus on the addiction, and we lose patience with the addiction, but the addiction is the message. And the message is an arrow, and the arrow is pointing to our hearts. There is a wound in our hearts that needs to be healed. So if you feel that you're on this path of your journey right now of healing, please book a call with me. Otherwise, let me know how this lands. Pornography is not a demon. The harm is inside us. The fear is inside us. If we project the fear outwards, we're not taking ownership of the fear. If we're addicted, then we understand that the fear is within us, that these wounds that we carry are fear. And healing those fears will heal your addiction. I hope this is clear. Let us know how you feel. If you feel that you're ready to step up a notch into your life and unlock your potential and heal from that addiction for good and heal those wounds that you carry, book a call with me. I'll put the link in the comments below. Thank you for your attention and heal yourselves, brother. Take care.